the RCMP, you know, I mean, they have to keep a tight lip on everything, but there's a lot more that meets the eye with the case.
Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. This is Friday morning the 20th of June. And we're going to Nova Scotia in Canada today to talk about the disappearance of 6-year-old Lily and her 4-year-old brother Jack Sullivan. In the last few days, CBC have released interviews with Daniel Martel, who is Lily and Jack's stepdad, and Lily and Jack's biological grandmother, Belinda. Belinda is Cody's mother, Lily and Jack's biological father. The clip you just saw was a bombshell for me. There's more going on in the case than meets the eye. There's more going on that RCMP and Daniel know about that they can't say. The case is strange. There's so many inconsistencies. Things don't ring true. All of these are red flags. So, well, did Daniel do something to Lily and Jack? Did MALEHYA, their mother, do something to Lily and Jack? Why the inconsistencies? Why the gaps in the timeline? Why do things not quite feel right? Well, maybe, just maybe, we're getting closer to the truth. Now, we have to go outside of the police investigation and we have to consider the words of someone who has rung in to a couple of YouTube channels. And I hear you groan at that. And oftentimes I groan at things like that because literally anybody could ring in. Literally anybody. Take everything I'm going to say in this video with a grain of salt. You make up your mind how much weight you want to give to this information. And as far as I'm concerned, it's unverified. However, it's very interesting. A whole bunch of people have asked me to comment on someone called DERWOOD. Now, DERWOOD is a man who, as far as I understand it, is MALEHYA's grandma's cousin. Correct me if I'm wrong. Which would make DERWOOD MALEHYA's first cousin twice removed. This is because your grandmother and her cousin share a set of grandparents, making them first cousins, and you are 2 generations removed from your grandmother. So, DERWOOD is part of the extended family, and he's been putting some pieces together. A couple of nights ago now, he rang into It's a Criming Shame. So, I'll leave a link to this in the description box. He thinks he knows what happened to Lily and Jack, and this is mind-boggling. My mind has been blown. I mean, literally blown. Again, I want you to decide yourself how much weight you want to give what DERWOOD says. I'm reserving judgment, but I think this is very much in play. He's a no-nonsense speaking guy. The stuff he's saying, well, actually, it starts putting some things into a way that maybe makes sense. So, in short, DERWOOD said that MALEHYA allowed the children to go with someone who she'd arranged to pick them up. And she walked them down to the bottom of the drive and waited with them. The vehicle came along, Lily and Jack got inside and drove them away. This was all planned by MALEHYA. But things then got out of hand because RCMP turned up quicker than MALEHYA thought. So I'm going to play you a little bit here, and this is a summary. DERWOOD was on for quite a while before he summarised, and then there's a little bit more I also want you to consider.
So, can you confirm this is what you believe, that MALEHYA had planned, I guess, to get the kids out of there so to make it easier for her to leave with MEADOW that morning? And so she took the kids to the end of the driveway and handed them off, not to get the kids away from Daniel, but just to make it easier for her to leave that situation. Is that kind of in a nutshell what you're thinking? And then the RCMP response was so quick, I think, because of the missing kayaker or whatever, and they had the RCMP and the dogs and the drones and everything there a lot quicker, and everything just kind of went so quick and blew up so fast that she panicked and was scared to get in trouble, so she didn't speak up and say, I have the kids, they're not missing.
Exactly. No, exactly. And I think if you see what I mentioned before, now this is partly theory, this little wee part of it, and you've got everything right down pat as far as I'm concerned about that situation. You're right on the money. There's one little thing that I already said to that I made. I don't think you missed it because I probably talked too fast or something. But the one thing that surprised her, that buggered up her plan, and this is only conjecture,
Jamie.
but it's pretty tight. She didn't know that Janie was home. She never thought Janie was home.
Janie is Daniel's mother. She lives in the RV on the property. MALEHYA didn't know Janie was home, and Janie nearly caught her and the children at the bottom of the driveway. And that's what scuppered her plan. So MALEHYA's plan was that she was leaving with all 3 children. She'd arranged this with someone who would take Lilly and Jack away, keep them safe, and then later that day, MALEHYA was going to leave with MEADOW. Okay, now people have been saying for a while now that they think that Lilly and Jack are with members of MALEHYA's family, and that's why she left. She left on May the 3rd. She just left with her mother. Look, I've said, look, I don't believe it because Lilly and Jack are not Daniel's children, so he has no rights to them. If she wanted to leave, she could just leave. However, the thing is, MEADOW is Daniel's. So if she wanted to leave with MEADOW and cut Daniel out, MEADOW's the sticking point. Okay, alright, so she enlists the help of someone that she trusts to pick Lilly and Jack up, and then she's going to follow along. One thing I will say, though, is why didn't MALEHYA just leave with all 3 kids? If she can drive, why didn't she just put Lilly and Jack in the car and then leave with MEADOW all together? Maybe she doesn't have the keys to any of the vehicles? I don't know, but that's my sticking point, so I'd like to have an answer to that. And maybe there is an answer to that and I've just missed it. But she didn't know Janie was home, and Janie nearly caught her. That's what scuppered her plan.
But you see, Janie was home and got awakened and came out to the side of the road. And that's when you've heard Daniel say that she was kind of stunned on the side of the road and looking guilty when he came out because Janie was already there, and that she was looking guilty and that she was playing with her phone.
Yeah.
So I think like Janie sort of caught her unintentionally and didn't know she caught her. Like, she wondered what she was doing out the side of the road that early.
Right.
And from what I understand the conversation, Janie never had much. Janie looked at MALEHYA and said, "What did you do?" And MALEHYA just stood there stunned.
Oh, okay.
Now that's what I heard. And then, now this part of this I can't prove because I wasn't there.
Right.
Right, so it's all hearsay. We've got DERWOOD's word for it and nothing else. Janie's never come out speaking. Daniel clearly, if this story is true, has covered up for MALEHYA, because he's saying, even in this interview, which was like a few days ago, he said MALEHYA was right next to him, she was sleeping, and then he said to her, "Have you heard Lilly and Jack?" And then there was this 20 minutes, which doesn't make sense. I don't know where this 20 minutes fits in. Why are we saying that they were last seen at 8 a.m. and then the 911 call was only at 10 a.m.? It's something that I can't reconcile, the 2-hour delay. This theory does fill in some of the blanks. It's the reason why there was a 2-hour delay. It's the reason why MALEHYA and Daniel's stories just don't quite feel right. It's just something, and I've said it from day one, there's just something that's not quite ringing true. This could be why. that it is a made-up story, that Daniel's covering up for MALEHYA, and that's why he's saying in this interview there's more to this than meets the eye. Daniel's covering up for MALEHYA. She knew that Daniel would figure it all out, and that's why she had to leave. The other thing that's come out is now MALEHYA is on the run. I don't know whether on the run is a little bit hyperbolic, but she left when she realised that DERWOOD was putting 2 and 2 together. She freaked out and she left her mother's, where CPS need her to stay, because apparently she's under supervision, which again would make sense. Like, Daniel's not allowed to see MEADOW. MALEHYA's got MEADOW, but it's only under the supervision of other people. But MALEHYA left with MEADOW supposedly to go to the reserve because that's where her lawyer is. I don't characterise that as on the run unless she's not on the reserve and no one knows where she is. So there's a question mark there. I don't know. Also, in last night's show, It's a Crime and Shame, which I haven't listened to yet. You can see I've listened to 31 minutes. I think DERWOOD comes back on, and maybe there's more information here that I've not got yet. But Sonny shared these. These are text messages between MALEHYA and Belinda. And I'm inclined to say that these are true, because the previous text messages that Sonny shared between MALEHYA and Belinda, we know are true, because Belinda gave exactly the same story to the CBC news reporter, that there was text messages between MALEHYA and Belinda on the 2nd of May. Now, I don't know when this was, because that's cut off, but can I ask you a question? Why did you stop visiting with the kids? I just thought you needed time to convince Daniel he had nothing to worry about. I remember you said he thought you were only coming because you wanted to see Cody, but I don't understand, because we invited him too. He never wanted me to go, and I never knew why he was controlling. Why didn't you give us your address? We would have gladly come for visits. He never wanted me to give it. I never wanted to stay there. I really wish you would have reached out. Which answers a question as to why Belinda had never seen Lilly and Jack for a year and 9 months. That was the thing, that the big question mark I had after Belinda's interview with CBC. So there's a lot here. I'm inclined to give this some weight. Unless it can be proven not to be true. If it can be proven that DERWOOD is lying for whatever reason, then I'm inclined to keep this in play, because it makes sense. But if MALEHYA has been at her mother's for the last 7 weeks, and it's 7 weeks today since Lilly and Jack were reported missing, it means that RCMP, they're aware that MALEHYA and Daniel have been lying. I don't know whether Daniel would know the full story. I don't know whether Daniel would know exactly where Lilly and Jack are right now. I don't even know whether MALEHYA would know where Lilly and Jack are right now. But has MALEHYA been seeing them? Are all her family in on it? You know, it raises more questions, but it does actually fit some of the puzzle pieces together. And it explains why MALEHYA and Daniel's words don't quite feel true. Yeah, maybe there is way more to this than meets the eye. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.
Yeah.